Imagine a nuclear submarine, a colossal steel leviathan weighing 9,000 tons, stretching longer than a football field, floating with serene composure on the seemingly endless surface of the ocean. The hull, black and polished to a near mirror finish, glimmers faintly under the sun, reflecting shards of light off the gentle ripples of water. From a distance, it might seem like just another vessel drifting among the waves, yet this impression is deceptive. Beneath that sleek, unassuming exterior lies a labyrinth of immense power, intricate systems, and secrets so tightly sealed that they remain invisible even to the most scrutinizing eye. It is far more than a machine. It is a fortress, a silent, self-contained city capable of sustaining over 100 souls for weeks or even months at a time. It is a predator, designed with meticulous precision to thrive in the harshest, most unforgiving and remote corners of the Earth's oceans, capable of slipping undetected beneath the waves, moving with a grace that belies its monumental size. The surface of the sea around it is deceptively calm. Gentle waves lap against its sides, each ripple brushing against the smooth steel, producing only the faintest whisper of sound. Yet every inch of this leviathan is alive with purpose. Inside, nuclear reactors hum with latent energy, life support systems circulate air and water, and a disciplined crew navigates the hidden corridors, each member performing their duties with exacting precision. The submarine, though silent to the outside world, is a universe of activity within, a mechanical and human symphony harmonized for survival, stealth, and exploration. Then, with a calmness that seems impossible given its immense mass, the submarine begins to descend. Water slides effortlessly over its deck, splashing softly along the edges. Waves crash rhythmically against its sail, a slow, deliberate percussion marking the beginning of its silent journey into the deep. Gradually, as if obeying a command whispered to the ocean itself, the vessel vanishes beneath the surface. Within minutes, it disappears entirely, swallowed by the endless blue, leaving behind only a memory of its presence and the faint disturbance of water where it once floated. It becomes a ghost in its own realm, a shadow that moves unseen, capable of resurfacing hours, days, or even months later in any corner of the world, appearing as if from nowhere, a silent sentinel returning to reclaim its dominion. The questions this spectacle provokes are among the most fundamental in naval engineering, mysteries that have intrigued the greatest minds since the time of Leonardo da Vinci. How is it possible that a 9,000-ton mass of steel can, at will, become lighter than water in one moment and heavier the next? How can something so massive, so physically imposing, surrender itself to the ocean's embrace with such elegance and precision, and then return, as if by magic, to float effortlessly once again atop the waves? The intuitive answer is rooted in analogies drawn from what we know of airplanes and fish. Many imagine that the submarine uses its fins, its hydroplanes, to push downward, much like inverted wings producing lift in water, or that it forces itself toward the ocean floor with its immense propellers, are like a mechanical creature propelling through liquid. Yet if this were the full explanation, a submarine at rest on calm waters would never be able to initiate a dive, and yet it does, effortlessly and smoothly, with a precision that seems almost sentient. The truth is far more elegant, more fundamental, and in a sense, beautifully primitive. The submarine does not push itself downward. To submerge, it does something simpler and far more ingenious. It becomes heavier. To achieve this, it performs a feat so astonishing that it borders on the poetic. It inhales the ocean itself. Understanding this requires returning to the most basic principles discovered by Archimedes over 2 millennia ago, the principle of buoyancy. An object floats if its average density is less than the fluid it displaces. A solid block of steel, almost 8 times denser than water, would sink instantly to the bottom. But a ship, or a submarine, is fundamentally different. It is, at its core, a giant steel bubble. Its hull is almost impossibly strong, capable of resisting the immense pressures of the deep, yet its interior is filled with air, Complex machinery, nuclear reactors, the crew, and empty spaces, components that, when averaged across the vessel's total volume, reduce its overall density below that of the surrounding seawater. This is why it floats, part of its hull submerged, part rising above the waves, perfectly balanced, seemingly weightless despite its enormous mass. The secret to mastering this principle and turning it into a precise silent weapon of the deep lies in its main ballast tanks, the submarine's heart and lungs. And these enormous compartments are tucked between the inner pressure hull, a cylinder of high-strength steel that houses the crew and critical machinery, and the streamlined outer hull, which shapes the vessel for minimal resistance through water. On the surface, these tanks are filled with air, rendering the submarine buoyant and light, floating gracefully atop the water as if it were a living creature, breathing calmly in the sunlit expanse of the ocean. When the captain issues the order to dive, an intricately choreographed ballet of engineering springs to life. Every movement is calculated, precise, and synchronized, as if the submarine itself is aware of the delicate balance of forces around it. First, the enormous valves atop the ballast tanks, known as vents, begin to open. The air contained within these massive chambers, once maintained at near-perfect atmospheric pressure, is expelled with a thunderous whistle, a deep guttural exhalation that slices through the silence of the surrounding ocean. It is a sound both terrifying and majestic, resonating through the metal hull like the roar of some ancient sea creature awakening from slumber. The ocean, calm and seemingly infinite, suddenly becomes a participant in this ritual, its vast surface subtly trembling in response to the submarine's awakening. Almost simultaneously, the floodports at the bottom of the submarine begin to open, and here is where the magic of physics unfolds. The ocean itself, driven by the immense hydrostatic pressure of thousands of feet of water above, surges violently into the tanks, filling the void left by the expelled air. The submarine is literally drinking the sea, swallowing the ocean to gain the invisible weight needed to slip beneath its surface. You can almost imagine the water rushing in like a living entity, obeying an unspoken command, filling the hull's interior with a relentless, unstoppable force. As thousands of tons of seawater flood the ballast tanks, the submarine's mass increases dramatically. Its average density surpasses that of the surrounding water, and the buoyant force that had supported it effortlessly atop the waves is no longer sufficient to resist gravity. Slowly, deliberately, the vessel becomes negatively buoyant. It begins its descent, majestic and silent, gliding like a shadow through the inky darkness of the ocean, leaving no trace of its passage other than the faint, fleeting ripples above. The crew inside moves with calm efficiency, each action synchronized to the rhythm of the vessel, guiding it downward with the precision of a living organism. Once fully submerged, the hydroplanes, shaped like the wings of an airplane but engineered for a medium 800 times denser than air, take over the task of maneuvering. By adjusting their angles, these control surfaces manipulate the flow of water over them, generating lift either upward or downward. This allows the pilot to execute maneuvers of extraordinary subtlety, rising or descending along steep underwater contours, skimming close to the ocean floor, or altering course with delicate finesse to evade sonar detection. Each motion is a symphony of physics and engineering, a complex ballet in 3 dimensions, where the water itself becomes an extension of the vessel, responding instantly to every adjustment. The submarine is both predator and performer, moving with a grace that belies its immense size, a silent conductor in a liquid theater of shadows. Returning to the surface from crushing depths is an equally dramatic and awe-inspiring performance of engineering mastery. The upper vents close with a satisfying hiss, sealing the vessel like a living organism drawing in its breath. Then, compressed air, stored at pressures up to 3,000 pounds per square inch, is released into the ballast tanks. Acting like a colossal pneumatic piston, this pressurized air forces the water out of the tanks, reversing the process that allowed the submarine to descend. The submarine exhales the ocean itself, expelling thousands of tons of water that had made it sink. The expelled water jets out through the lower floodports with incredible force, leaving a visible turbulence in the surrounding water as if the submarine were breathing powerfully, asserting its presence even while hidden. As the tanks empty and refill with air, the vessel's average density once again becomes less than that of the surrounding seawater. Positive buoyancy returns, and the same force that had allowed it to sink now becomes its ally, lifting it irresistibly toward the surface. With grace and inevitability, it ascends, cutting through the layers of pressure and darkness, breaking through the waves in a spectacular burst of white spray, and once more floating in the sunlight. Above, it is still and quiet, a massive, silent giant, blending into the endless horizon as if it had never moved at all. This extraordinary interplay of physics, engineering, and human ingenuity allows a leviathan of steel to glide invisibly beneath the waves, a phantom predator that can vanish from sight and reappear anywhere across the globe's oceans, entirely under the control of those who have mastered the art of buoyancy. It is not merely a machine, it is a triumph of human creativity, a living testament to the union of ancient principles and modern technology. A floating city that inhales the ocean itself to command the deep, it is at once awe-inspiring, terrifying, and beautiful. A silent sovereign of the sea, moving with the patience and power of a creature born to dwell in a world beyond sunlight. The ocean holds countless secrets, and the submarine moves through its depths with a grace and power that few can imagine. It is a marvel of human ingenuity, a silent guardian of the deep, and a reminder that the boundaries of what we can achieve are limited only by our imagination. If this journey beneath the waves has captivated you, there's so much more to explore. Subscribe now and join us as we uncover the hidden wonders of science, engineering, and the natural world, where every discovery is a dive into the unknown, and every story brings the extraordinary to life. Don't just watch from the surface, plunge deeper, and let the adventure begin.